So, one of the new features of R4 for 2024 is the ability to use GL Outlier to detection to make your journal entry approvals a more streamlined process. So, if you are already using journal entry approvals in the system, this might just make your life easier. And if you do not have that process enabled, but it's something that you're interested in, you would go to General Ledger Setup and Configuration. And in here, there's a section where you can enable journal entry approvals. And that's a whole process in itself that I will not go into today. If it's something that you're interested in setting up for your company, go to our YouTube and we do have videos on that. So if you already have that set up, you know that there's this approved journal entry section within your General Ledger module. And some companies, of course, might have hundreds of journal entries that they have to approve. And this GL outlier detection is using AI to read your data so that it can tell you whether or not a transaction is similar to what you put in, or if there's a flag on it, if it looks different to what you normally put in your system. So if you already have that enabled, you would go then to Company. Under the Admin tab, click on to Subscriptions. And that whole GL outlier is driven by this AI machine learning. And this is part of the core subscription. So if it's not clicked on, click it on. If you don't see it, then you're going to need to reach out to get that enabled in your system. But if you see this here, just click it on and then you would click Configure. So when you click Configure, then you enable data service. And if this is not checked, you want to check off enable for General Ledger approval. So this does not take automatic effect because the system needs time to read your data so that it can learn from your data basically to tell you when something looks strange or when a transaction brings back a flag. So it takes at least 2 days or 1,000 transactions, something like that. So basically you would click on both of these and save, and then the system starts reading your data and you can come back in here and this will give you a ready status when it's actually going to start working for you. So then when you go to your approved journal entry screen, this is what you would see is this outlier section, which is going to give you either nothing, which means that it hasn't run through outlier. It's going to give you an exclamation mark, which says, this is a little off to me. I'm not exactly sure what it is. And in that case, you would go in and you would view the transaction and hover over it. And it's going to give you a little description on what's off on the transaction. So it might say something like dimension setup is a little weird, or dimensions that you've coded to are unusual, something like that. And this with the little line is it's been through outlier, it looks fine, should be good for approval. And then, I mean, you can decide whether or not you're just going to say, yeah, okay, or you're going to go into it. But I mean, as time gets on, the system is learning more from your data, getting smarter, and you should be able to trust it more that if this comes up, yes, you can just approve. That's totally up to you. This is just the process that's going to make that a little bit easier for you. So that is how you would enable and turn that on. Obviously, keep in mind, it will take a couple of days, a good few transactions for the system to start learning so that it actually gives you this information. But a nice enhancement as part of R4.